is to go to the moon and achieve orbit. I might want to take Valentina just for kicks. I know Jeb's up, but I want to save him for landing for no other reason, for no reason at all. Anyway, these new boosters that I put on the side, and I also added a tank of gas here, but other than that, this is the identical ship that we went to the flyby science collection mission. And these boosters are so much more powerful. I had to reduce the power by 75%, and also the amount of solid fuel that they give us. Otherwise, it's going to put us out a little far, a little unnecessary. Anyway, I did what I did. I am what I am. Basically, it's like everything else. Ship we fly flies like the final ship we're going to fly. We're just going to let the thing settle a little. For some reason, it's rocking. Alright, going. Alright, I can see myself pulling north. So I can turn. Now you notice I've already started my pull a little bit. These are the rockets resisting me. Basically because we have three spread out and they're correcting each other. Trying to pull each other. They're basically using each other to create center interference to force an upward direction. I can't steer really out of it. So there we are. We just hit 70. I'll get rid of those. I'm going to just put it where I don't lose speed. Remember, everything we lose, we got to get back. So now I should be able to stay within this range. Now it's going to shoot us out to about 130. And I might be short on that number. Alright, so it's a race to 22. That 30 might not have been too far off. Alright, I'm going up really hard and fast right now. My 2-minute 9 isn't going down, so I'm going to go half throttle there. We're getting it to decline. I don't know if you can hear that annoying buzz. I hope it doesn't show up in my recording. Alright, 150. The large orbit really doesn't affect us that much unless we're it's interfering with like some type of mission parameters. In my case, well, I don't really know what I'm going to do with this satellite. We've changed everything by adding the extra gas tank and the solid boosters, and it looks like we're closing in on that that 2250 possibly with this gas tank. All right, so I've really cut it down. I'm still moving. There we go. I'm still moving up. And I'm trying to get that 2-minute 26-second time to apoapsis to decline. I do want to stay under 200. And we are getting ready to run out of fuel. So I'll be watching that here. Now we have this fuel, which is probably inadequate. Let's just try to achieve our 2250 and see what happens. Yep, 170 for sure. Alright, here we go. Okay. So we've just achieved orbit, but I gotta see what's going on before I burn much more gas. Oh. So we've reached a point where we can auto warp. And I'll just put that on 210. Alright, 211, 211. Oh, let's go back and look. So what we got going on, which is, the question is, how much gas do we have in this satellite? $84, so I'm gonna, 2 and 1. My radiators will turn on and my antenna goes up. Alright, so we do this like any other thing. We're gonna set the target of the moon. We're 8 nodes off. We're going to warp here. And that's +8, by the way. And then you can add maneuver nodes, and these will tell you what you're going to do before you even do it. We were having to do it with instinct before, So, and then the next thing you can do is warp to the next maneuver. Let's look how that works. Alright, that blue dot is our goal. Looks like my camera is covering some important stuff. I don't know if I can move it. Yes, I did. Alright, I actually can move it in the process of recording. I also saw that I could change the size. Anyway, so we have a 1 minute and 20 second burn in 1 minute and 2 seconds. So this is halfway before, halfway after. They're showing us to start the burn in 10 seconds. That's very close. 50. Okay, so you just give it gas, and then what they did is took the burn time and divided it in two, and we started that much before the clock, and then we should burn that much after the clock. Anyway, we have time to go look. You can see your oval growing. Now this will show us how close we need to go to get to zero. Now I don't know if you noticed, but I put us 1,000,000 meters away. So once I do this, I will go and make another adjustment. Where's that decoupler? There it is. Alright, let's shut that down and look at what we got. Alright, so there's approximately our goal. And we can get rid of that node and then just deal with reality. And since we're going to orbit, might as well put it in there, alright? Like, we're not going to worry about any science till we get into orbit. So we'll just go with 50. I'm going to warp here. I don't think we have much to collect until we get there now. We already got our deep space. We got our high moon. What we're going to get next is what we call near moon science and other orbital science. Now, remember we'd start a burn back here, but let's go ahead and warp it on in. Alright, now I have a choice here. I can put this satellite in orbit. Solar orbit. It'll toss out past Minmus. Let's go ahead and do that just for kicks, because it sure would be cool to see what becomes of that. So off it goes. It's gonna leave our lunar system and head on to a, what it's going to do is come out here, past the next moon. It's going to come out to this body, inside Kerbin. See this purple orbit? It's going to take this purple orbit. So it should travel faster than Kerbin and be like a, I don't know, long-range communications array. The technology's probably not good enough. But we're about to our periapsis, and that's where we fire. So, warp here. So with the periapsis, we just put it on the retrograde and hammer it. And you can see the course of, I believe that's our satellite. All right. Take us down to 10,000 feet, maybe 9. I know that's safe. I can see it actually with the orbit. And then we warp over here. We can watch ourselves warp if you want. And we've got plenty of gas to go home, by the way. Once we get our orbit set, we can focus on our science. I'll try to put that one somewhere around 8,000. All right. I lied. I put it on 67. That's your maximum. After that, you start have the potential to hit the top of mountains. So I'm going to speed up the. Alright, let's stop the warp. We got science to do, right? So, let's start off with Mystery Goo. 30. Temperature. 24. Pressure data. Barometric pressure data. 36. Aren't these incredible numbers? Are you ready for this one? 75. Crew report. 15. And we might as well spin her to the top. Just because it's less scary on the EVA. Of the EVA report. 24. Alright, so that's about all the data you want to milk from the moon. Now, I don't know if you remember, but on Kerbin we had different biomes would have different EVA results. Let's look at this one. The EVA report, if I did one. Midlands, the moon's Midlands. So let me just come out here, I'll show you another biome. You want to take one over the top of this big crater. And take one over the top of that big crater. And you want to take one over this crater. So you can go warp here. And this is over the northwest crater. Okay, let's go ahead and warp to here. And then I'll show you how many points you get for that. I think it's another 24. Which I don't know if you remember, we were getting 2.4 for our EVA report before, so we're 10 times more here. Yeah, it's hard to see. We're traveling pretty fast in the dark. If you could see the land moving, I don't know if it'll translate in the video, the land moving in relationship to the craft. Oh, isn't that nice? You can kind of get a feel for it on the set, the Earth set, or the Kerbin set. Oh wow, that was pretty neat. Okay, I'm going to stop it now. I don't know why. I think I feel like there's a biome below me. I'm going to look. Highlands, yes. Remember the other one was the Midlands? So for some reason, I felt correct. Oh, and we get to go through this thing too. That's going to be fun. And this is the east far side crater. Oh, we never did put our altitude on 67. If we did, you would get to fly through the canyon. Let me see if I still can. Okay, here we go. And I wanted to be at a solid 6,700 concentric orbit, and then this canyon is the highest point. Really comfortably speaking, you should probably fly into this canyon backwards, but we're at 76, so we'll be clearing stuff by thousands. We are going down, but not enough to make a difference. And then let's go ahead and try an EVA. Canyons, yay! So we're at 74, but you can imagine at 67. What happens at 67 is you come flying through at the peak tops, like you can see them. Like we're 3,000 to the bottom of that canyon. That's far away, but and we look close, but you can only imagine if we were lower in altitude. It's like they're right there. And so this peak is about 67. Anyway, these are the canyons. It's pretty cool when you're flying through them and the mountains are above you. Okay, so let's put it back on orbit. This is the point where if we want to go back to Kerbin, this is a good time. We actually don't want to go straight at it, but kind of away from the moon. About like this. Alright. Sometimes you get to the point where it is approximate and then you just adjust as you go. So I don't have any real plan other than get out of the moon's velocity. Alright. So I've created an orbit. This is where I'm going to pop out right here. Busy weekend, I guess. I'm tired. I've been tired. Well, I'm just getting old. That's always a possibility. Alright, so then we're in a new orbit. Now we're back in an orbit around Kerbin. And we just reduce that circle, or retrograde. Reduce. Retro. Anytime you see RE, it means backward. Reduce. Less than. Regret. Figure that one out. What you have less of. When you have regret, what do you have less of? Satisfaction. Or positivity, I guess. So we have retrograde and prograde. So if we had regret, what do we have a pro word that's opposite of regret? If we have a proceed is opposite of regress. There's a lot of pro words. Promote. They all mean something forward or positive. When you see PRO. And RE always goes backwards or negative. Alright, checking my gas. I won't have enough to make a difference, so I'm going to go take it down to like 40, and then we'll assist it. And we won't have to circle the planet twice. Alright, so the next thing we do is warp here. Okay. So this is the right position to be in. You can see how we're high up on the azimuth. Let me show you why. Because we're pointing more towards the ground than we are pointing level across. And it's because we have this big old unconcentric circle called an ellipse or an oval. And until we can turn that into a circle, we're going to have to deal with speeding up and slowing down, variable speeds. You can see we're picking up speed as we're going to the end of the gravity well. So I'm hammering the engines now. I'm at 52,000 meters. All right, 20. That looks like we're going to hit the water. And the heavy air is biting our speed. A lot of drag's hitting the bottom. We hardly used any ablation at all. Oh boy, I'm getting tired. I'm probably gonna have to end this video at this point. And we're going to have to stretch one more video to land on the moon, or landing on the moon is going to be the beginning of my next series. That's probably what it's going to be. So I think this is going to be the end of this series. Congratulations. Before you go, we're going to go spend our experience points and use any money we have for potential upgrades. Now, I'm probably going to do a side video that's a rescue mission, so you can see that. I haven't done any rescue missions here. They're kind of a pain because you do one and then it gives you another and it gives you another and it gives you another, and if you're emotionally invested like I am, you feel like you got to keep the Kerbals alive, and then all you do is rescue missions. Before you know it, you have 12 or 15 astronauts. You're like, wow, wow. And that's really cool because you need to man the space stations, but man, in the beginning, I just don't rescue. If I accumulate 3 or 4 in space, fine. But that's one aspect I never haul or test. Ooh. So I should probably learn those and maybe do some videos on how to run different tests. Now, you can accelerate speed here. And as I've told you before, I like to stop at about 50 feet above the ground. I do not want to hit that water accelerating. Alright, recovered. So, we're going to see Valentina's gotten some additional experience, I believe, unless she has to land to get it. Look, we brought back 316 science points. That's our biggest haul yet. And it looks like we had a few in the bank. 673 in funds. We didn't recover jack. 1 experience gained. So now we have 369 experience points. 309,000. So let's just check some stuff. We could upgrade that if we wanted to level 1, but I wouldn't do anything else. Now I think we're upgraded everywhere but the what building you call that? Alright, these are 90. So 90 times 4 is 360. We can have 4 of these. Alright, that looks like some type of monitoring experiment. A control station. I like that one. I need that for airplanes. And I'm going to hold off on the next one until I think about it for a while. But anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good Kerbal day.